Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to today's golf rules tip: golf balls close to one another. Now in this scenario, which the golf rules, for those of you that like to look up the golf rules, this scenario is covered under golf rule 15.3. If you want to look that up, again, it's golf rule 15.3. And if you want to look that up, you'll find that anytime that another player's golf ball interferes with your play, you can ask that person to mark and move their golf ball. And that's what this video is designed to show us on how to properly do that. Here in our first example, in regards to this rule, my golf ball has come to rest right here, and then there's another player's ball directly in front of mine. And I am entitled, because I am farther away from the hole here, to ask that player to mark and move their golf ball. And I would do that in this case because condition number 1 says that if another player's golf ball interferes with your swing path, even potentially, you can ask somebody to mark and move your ball. This case here is very obvious. That golf ball is right in front of my swing path. But that ball's up here. I may feel like, hey, that's still my swing path. I could ask them to mark and move their ball. And here's how they would do that. So pretend with me I'm the other player. The other player would say, okay, I'll mark that for you. And they would mark it here off to the side or behind it. And as they pick their ball up, they need to note the condition of the lie. They got to note, okay, is my ball buried? Is it sitting up? Because they're going to have to put this ball back the way they found it. Additionally, the other player cannot clean this golf ball, and they must use this same golf ball. You got to put the ball back just like nothing happened in a moment. Now they would mark it, and then me, in this situation, I would feel like that tee is still in my way. I would ask them to move it over 1 club head length over there to the right. So then they would do that and mark it here 1 club length over. I would check and make sure, yeah, and I would tell them, hey, that's good. They would step here off to the side. Now it's my turn to come up here and hit my shot. So I get my routine, try to hit a good shot here. Very good shot. And then now I would, of course, go up there and mark that ball on the putting green just out of courtesy, or tap that in. But I'm not going to do that just to save time on this video. Now they have to put that ball back the way they found it. So again, you remember, they moved over 1 club length, and they also marked the ball to the side, not behind it, and they got to make sure they replicate that lie. Again, if they put the ball there, that's the wrong spot. They marked to the side in this case. A lot of times they'll mark behind, but because my ball was so close, we marked there to the side, 1 club length over, put it back, replicate the lie. The other player would get up here, hit their shot, no penalty, and we move on. Scenario number 2, where another player's ball may interfere with your play, is if it interferes with your stance. The first example situation, scenario number 1, was my swing path. This time my golf ball's right here, the other player's ball's here. I'm farther away from the hole, so it's my turn to play, and I get up here and I realize that for me to take my stance, I'm going to have to step on that ball. It's going to interfere with my play, and I'm entitled to ask that other player to mark and move their ball. Another thing, if you're in stroke play, you can simply ask the other player if they want to go, and they may do that. Well, oftentimes, especially if you're far away from the green, the other player will just simply get up here, hit their shot, go up there, mark their ball on the green, whatever. I would get up here and hit mine, even though they were closer to the hole than I was. In stroke play, that's totally permissible. We can agree to do that. Now, however, they may say, hey, I don't want to give you a free read. So then what they would do is say, I'll just mark it and let you go first. Plus, I'll get a read off your ball because, take advantage of the rules that you can. The other player's supposed to go first. They would mark this. And it's a good idea here just to stick that tee down deep in the ground. That usually will suffice anybody's stance. So I feel that did. Again, I could ask them to move it over 2 or 3 club lengths. In this case here, I'm happy with that tee just being in the ground. So I'd hit my shot, get it up on the green, go up there and mark it out of courtesy. I won't do that for the sake of this video. And then now, because that tee's pushed down, I recommend you kind of pull it up just a little bit, just so you don't risk losing that spot. Again, that person needs to replicate the lie. They couldn't clean this ball. They got to use the same one. put it back the way you found it. Now they would get up here, get in their routine, hit their shot, no penalties occurred, and we keep on moving with our play. Now our third condition where another player's golf ball may interfere with us is actually the line of play. If I think that there's a chance that another player's ball that's come to rest could be in my line of play, at any chance at all, I'm entitled to ask them to mark and move their ball. Here's a great example. I got my golf ball right here. Another player's ball's come to rest right in front of me, right on my line, here on the fringe. They're on the collar, the fairway grass. They're not on the putting green. Normal golf rules say they cannot mark their ball and just move it out of the way. If they're on the green, they would probably do that. I could even ask them to do that, okay? In this case here, they can't touch their ball under normal golf rules. So their ball's just lying there. So in stroke play, I can simply ask that player, hey, do you want to go ahead and go? If they're any bit of a competitor, they may not want to do that because they're going to give me a pretty good read here on this shot. So they would most likely say, hey, no, I'll just mark it and move it. But they could go up there, hit their shot. Then I would come up here, hit mine, no penalty. We would move on, even though I'm farther away from the hole in this scenario, because I believe that ball is interfering with my play, on my line of play more specifically. So I would ask them simply to mark that ball and move it, and they would have to do that. In this case here, they can use the tee. Well, in this case here, the ground's so tightly mowed, I'll just put a quarter down my ball marker right behind the ball. They would lift it, noting again the precise lie that they had, knowing that you cannot clean this ball and you must use this ball. Then I would get up here and decide, is it still on my line? I would say in this case, you know, I might land the ball right there. I would ask them to move it over a club head length or two to the right here. So then they would do that. They'd simply move their mark, one, and I would say, hey, can you move it one more? I might in this scenario, and then they would move it. And then they'd have to remember, I moved it two and put it back. So then I would come up here, get in my routine, see if we can hit another good one here. Okay, good shot. I would get up there, mark my ball or tap it in. I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video, for time's sake. The other player then must put that ball back. So they come over one, two, and then they marked right behind the ball. Again, they didn't mark to the side. They know right there is going to be that spot. They would get up here and hit their shot, no penalty. Now, in our example here, we were in the general area. We were in the rough. We were on the fringe of around the green, in other words, the fairway grass. And you can apply this rule anywhere on the golf course. You can apply it out in the fairway. You can apply it in the rough. You can apply it on the collar or the fringe, as we call it. You can apply it on the putting green course, bunkers, fairway bunkers, greenside bunkers, and even penalty areas, red and yellow penalty areas. The only place you can't is out of bounds, but because your golf ball is no longer on the course, it's out of bounds. But if there is another ball that may possibly interfere with your swing path, your stance, or even your line of play, you're entitled to these benefits of Golf Rule 15.3. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, smile often, have fun. God loves you. We will see you next time.